club. You know, if we just get top 4, we get a respectable finish in the league and compete in the trophies, the cycle continues, man. And I'm sure we'll get into it, but you've seen the transfer news yourself, bro. When you read half of these names, it's all in the summer. The cycle's continuing, man. It's disappointing, but it's not surprising, Dan, man.
Listen, man, they're definitely fans of the summer as opposed to the winter, these people. Let me tell you that, bruv. Look, I'm going to chuck some names at you because there are some rumours and there's some kind of players that I would like to see us try and go for. The first one I'm going to put on screen is this guy because Kvaratskhelia is being linked with a move away from Napoli this month. I think Arsenal need to be all over on this one, DG. I don't know why we would not be. We clearly need a left winger, Mikel Arteta. Although we believe he's obsessed with Nico Williams, we seem to believe that we want a left winger of some kind. And this one, for me, is one of, if not the best in Europe right now. 23 years old, Georgian international, killing it in Napoli. The figures, the stats are insane. Lit up the Euros. He is my number one, and I cannot believe what I'm reading, that he is apparently available for Havertz money. And it doesn't look like Arsenal will rule over this one, bro. What do you make of it?
I would love him. Like you said, man, you know, the left-hand side needs improving. Everybody's seen what he's capable of. You know, PSG are involved, and Fabrizio tweeted that they're offering 4 times his wages, so we can't probably get involved. But that just tells me everything's a lie about how you can't do things in the market and it's difficult and whatnot. I'd bring him if I could, man. I'm with you with that. But it's dream chasing, ain't it, man? We ain't bringing nothing.
No, it doesn't look that way, man. It looks as if Kvaratskhelia is one that's just a dream. And if I'm honest with you, bruv, I'm kind of pissed by it because I think this is a perfect opportunity for us. You know, he said he would look at maximizing an opportunity if one arrived. Well, one's just arrived, and it doesn't look like we're interested, man. And what frustrates me even more is, say again,
it's lip service, Dan, man.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Yeah. All it is. Because when it's time to actually put your feet on, put your dukes up and actually make things happen, there's problems. It's always this unique opportunity and different profile and this, that, and the other. January is a reactive market. I don't know if PSG thought or any of these clubs that have been linked with him thought he'd be available, but they're making it happen. We're just sitting here and twiddling our thumbs.
It's scary, bro. And look at PSG and Liverpool and even Man United are all trying to get this guy. We're just sitting there trying to wait for Williams in the summer. Like, it just drives me insane, man. I'm sick and tired of it, to be fair to you. But look, that's a player that I think can take us to new levels. I saw us against Newcastle, which I want to touch on in a bit, but I saw Gordon and Isak and I thought, why would both of those players walk into our team? It weren't long ago that we were saying not many of these guys are getting in our side, only City and Liverpool players. Now we're looking across the Premier League thinking, wow, most of them have got a better attack than us. So surely when an opportunity comes like that, we need to be all over it. But it doesn't look like Mikel Arteta wants him. Whether Liverpool will get him or whether it will be PSG or Barcelona or another team, we're yet to see. Look, he might still stay at Napoli, but apparently Conte is saying that he's basically not interested in keeping him, it seems. So very, very bizarre. Him and Osimhen, 2 players that won in the league only a couple of years ago, they seem to be one out. It's very, very bizarre, man. Let's talk about the guy that I think you and I have probably spoken about till death, man. This guy absolutely destroyed us on Tuesday night. I thought he was excellent and has been this season. They're saying now that he's going to be too expensive for Arsenal in January and potentially even in the summer. We're not going to get him, are we, DG?
No, man, Dan, we're not signing. We know we're not signing Isak. I hope I'm wrong. You know, pure optimism. I hope I'm wrong. As you said, he walks into our team, he elevates it. The number 14 shirt is free. It's not going to happen. And for me, I want Isak. I think he's a great player. I think we're at that point now where if you can find players that don't cost a lot of money, fair enough, but evident quality, you have to be able to put the money down because we've done that on a couple of occasions for some players that we're not actually convinced on. My thing is now, cool, if you're not going to get Isak, he's not the only striker in the world. Make something happen now, man. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. There's none. Like, Dan, like, look at the issues we have around us, what would I say? The depth of the squad, the left-hand side, the right-hand side, the striker, everything that me and you have been complaining about on YouTube and everyone in the comments. We didn't learn that this season. They've been there. So it's like, how much times are we going to do the same things and want something different? I'd love Isak, but we're being briefed that there's no money. And even it's confusing because the day before that, like they said that we can go for Isak. We will go for him. And before that, you heard, oh, PSR is not an issue. The only restrictions we have are those that we've put on ourselves. Now, they're credible journalists. They're just briefing us, bro, about the summer. It's Netflix stuff now, man. It's always next season. The cycle continues, Dan, man. We've been here before.
We have, bro, and I heard Turkish the other day saying that when you read a book and you know how it ends, when you start reading it and people say get excited, no, I'm not because I know how it ends, and I feel
exactly.
Like that. You know what I'm saying? I watch a movie, I know how it ends. Why would I get excited halfway through? I know how it ends. You know what I'm saying? So I just find that mad. Look, let's talk on the striker very quickly, because obviously we've got Kai Havertz and Jesus. Jesus has been banging in some goals, but it looks as if it could be a purple patch. There's not really any level of consistency there. Kai Havertz is going through a period where a lot of people are now starting to say that this signing has not worked out for Mikel Arteta. I don't think we are going to sign one. And if I'm honest with you, if I had to put my money on who it would be, I think it's Zenko in the summer. Where are you at with this number 9 situation, bro?
Bro, Dan, goals win games. You know, if you want to be a team that competes and doing what we've been doing for the last 2 years, the club have enough. If you want to get over the line, you need more answers than questions. You need to know, okay, Saka's getting X amount of goals. Who's doing that on the left-hand side? Even 50% of Saka. We can't answer that question. I actually think Kai Havertz, I've got to the point with Kai, bro, where I can't get at you anymore. I think you've done all you can. You shouldn't be at the club. You shouldn't be in the position you are. We shouldn't be relying on you. You shouldn't be turning up more than certain other better players than you. So we're at where we're at. We clearly need a striker. We don't know who's getting 20 league goals or anything close. It's complacency or naivety when we came into the season, assuming that Kai Havertz's form at the back end of the season was going to continue when that's been, what, half a year. It's naivety, it's complacency. And then obviously, as much as Arteta and the players want to talk about winning trophies, and obviously us fans want it, when you look at the window we had and the failure to address and improve on the side, bearing in mind we missed out on 2 points by City, maybe it was naive of even thinking that, yeah, we're really going to challenge for a league. Like, we all know, as long as we get top 4, don't get embarrassed in the cups. There's managers already been given a new deal. There's no issues. We evidently need a forward. Goals win games. It's the hardest thing to do, put the ball in the back of the net. You look at the Martinelli and Havertz chances, goals change games as well in the cup. They weren't able to convert. It's silliness what we're doing, man.
It is silliness, man. Listen, people, there's nearly 400 of you in here. Please make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe, and also click on Deluded Gooner in the title. Look, bro, I'm with you on the striker situation. There's rumours and suggestions that Gabriel Jesus, we may listen to offers in the summer, but Kai Havertz is not going anywhere, especially not on 290k a week. Now, I'm cool with that. If he wants to stay and be part of the squad, I don't actually mind that with Kai. If he comes in and he's this versatile player, then cool. But actually, what we're looking at here is a marquee signing that was 65 million. That's our highest wage earner. And then we've got him in the 9, we've got him in the 8, we've got him in the 10. And I saw him on the bloody right wing the other night. And I'm thinking,
just crossing the ball.
Why do we still need a right wing? I still need an 8, still need a 10, and still need a 9 then. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro. So, look, it's a marquee signing that hasn't worked. You know, I heard Turkish and me talking the other day, talking about how Declan Rice and Havertz were the kind of Alisson Van Dijk signings for Liverpool, and they haven't worked out. Like, Declan Rice, fair play, but Kai Havertz is just, wow. I mean, we'll get to Declan Rice in a minute, but I just don't know what's going on. I can't believe still that we've signed Kai Havertz, man. Look, we clearly need a winger. We clearly need a wide forward. I think there's other positions we need as well, but it looks as if we're not going to get a striker. It might be a wide forward. Now, Nico Williams is the guy that people are talking about, but I just don't know that I can see this one happening in January. And if I'm honest with you, bro, I'm not sure I can see it happening in the summer if he wants to stay in Spain. What do you make of this one?
Bro, you said it yourself, man. It's the hope that kills. You can't see it happening. Like, obviously, it seems, I don't know him from nowhere, but it seems that he's been enticed to go and join Barcelona. That will be his first priority. If Arsenal believe you can get him, go out and get him. But what I don't want to see is you do not sign a backup or some other alternative because you tried to get him. There are some sections of our fan base that fall for this. You don't get him, you need to buy someone in it. Like, we're not going to get him in January. He's not going to leave Bilbao mid-season. He's not going to snake them like that. I'd love the guy, but he's on 300 grand a week himself. And obviously you're going to have to activate his release clause, which needs to be paid in full. These are if you really believe in him and believe he improves our side and he can get us closer, do it. But Dan, you know yourself, man, Nico Williams ain't signing for Arsenal. I hope I'm wrong, but we've seen this story, man.
We have many times. And look, I appreciate why we might want or look at Nico Williams. I totally get why he lit up the Euros. But this season, he hasn't been great, bruv. I'm looking at other players that we can get. I'm looking at Lookman. I'm looking at Cunha. I'm looking at potentially Marmoush. I'm looking at other players like now Kvaratskhelia who's come to light. And I'm thinking that there's better players out there at the moment that are on form. Now, I'm not saying that Nico Williams would be a bad signing because he's obviously got a release clause of 49 million. But this is what makes me laugh, DG. We're saying there's no one. This is so hard to do this window. Look at what is actually available to us at the moment, bruv. And look at the release clauses, man. I ain't having those excuses, bro.
Neither am I. And then you go in the summer, me and you and everybody else who makes content, and big up the viewers, make sure you're smashing the like button. Half of the name, there'll be new names that we're talking about in these positions. So it's a myth. Like, it really is a myth. If we was a prime Arsenal side or any team that's won a league with the attacking options we had back then in the Invincibles, then I would hear it if they say there's no one that can improve us. But really, looking at the depth, you have a young Ethan that's coming and look head and shoulders better than everyone. You hardly have any numbers. Really, to the point where did you really exhaust your options where you had to buy Raheem Sterling on loan, where the gaffer clearly doesn't trust him? Really, it sounds good, you know, when you say the same thing enough times and you've got the credible journalists and the toxic positive people saying it, it sounds like it makes sense. It doesn't. And you find yourself in this situation where Nico Williams, Lookman and Buemo, this one, that one, and it's all talking about the summer. The summer's all fine and dandy. Clearly, we want signings in the summer, but we need to salvage our season. We're in January. There's a few months left to play. And as we've been alluding to, you know, this is a very important period of our season. All it takes, Dan, is to hear something positive about Ethan returning sooner rather than later, something around Saka. And you know the club will not sign anyone. You know we're going to get briefed on the last day of January how we tried. There wasn't anything available. And we just have to crack on now, man. I'm kind of emotionally checked out, man. Like, it's jarring.
It is jarring, man. Big up to my boy Locks. Make sure you're following this guy, man. Blue tinted glasses, all Leicester. And I tell you what, Leicester, what is happening with them at the moment, man? Make sure you go follow this guy, because honestly, you don't want to follow anyone else when it comes to Leicester content. He's one of the best, one of the funniest, and generally one of the best guys out there. So make sure that you do this. He's gifted 5 football memberships, man. Make sure you do me a favor. Hit the like button and subscribe, and go and do exactly the same thing for Blue tinted glasses. Let's show him some love, because he showed us some love and this channel some love. He's a great lad. Big up to you, Locks. I hope you're well, my guy. Listen, bruv, let me just chuck some names at you, because I've got to be real. There's a lot of talk about this guy. Brentford, I'm not sure they want to sell him. I think they potentially would sell him for the right price. And I've got to say, DG, I'm a fan. I like him a lot. I think he's been scoring his own form. He's been fantastic for Brentford. He's a right-sided player that at the moment would play first team for Arsenal. What do you make of this guy, man?
Bring him, Dan, bring him. And Buemo, Premier League proven. I do think the way Brentford play is different, but there's a lot of similarities. He's a good player, man. Can play across the front, free, can play up front. We'd love him either up front or off the right. I remember Thomas Frank saying a few months ago that like he kind of wanted to leave in the summer. I believe he's contracted until 2026. Go out there and lay the groundwork, man. Would love the guy, man. Would love him. Doing bits for my FPL as well. Love him, Buemo. But
yeah, do you know what he is for me as well, man? I've had him since the start, and he's absolutely killed it, man.
He's doing a madness for me.
He is, bro. He is. Look, I don't know what your thoughts are about actual other targets or what you would like. So I wanted to ask you before we go into some of the potential outgoings this January window, which I can't believe I'm saying, but I am. What's your kind of realistic dream for this window? Like, I know I asked you a question around Christmas time and you come up with some names, but what are you saying right now realistically? Has anything changed with you?
Well, in terms of a name, I'd love us to go Leon and try for that Ryan Cherky, just because he seems he's got one foot out the door. But in terms, if the injuries and the current climate we didn't have, I would be looking at a striker or potentially a number 8. I think with Saka's injury now, I think the priority has to be a versatile inside forward, someone that can play off the right. I genuinely think that has to be the number 1 priority. But then again, we all know to improve this team, we need a certified striker. We need another option that can play on the left. I personally would love to see Declan Rice go back to playing as a 6, and we've got an 8. And we actually need to sort out our goalkeeping situation beyond David Raya, because we actually do not have 2 long-term second and third choice keepers, bro. It's a mess. It really is.
It really is, man. I can't lie to you. It really is. Bro, I've been saying for a long time I want Gyökeres. He's the guy that I want. I think the release clause is there. Bring him. The release clause is there, bro. And people have said, well, how are we going to get Isaks and how are we going to get... Okay, if you can't get them until the summer, then you go to the next list, which at the moment, for me, is Victor Gyökeres, because he's got the release clause. Go and activate that release clause and make him make that decision. Go and do it to Victor Osimhen. Go do it to Nico Williams. He's got release clauses, bro. There's no excuses. It's not like we got to try and agree a deal and agree a fee. The fee's there. Go put it in.
You just have to convince him to sign. Isak's not the only one. Isak would be my number 1 choice. I want the club to exhaust all options. But if it becomes abundantly clear that you can't get Isak, move on, do something else.
Facts, bro. I'm with you 100%. I can't believe that we're taking so long to look at who we're actually after. This should have been done ages ago. And it brings me back to the Edu situation, man, because this Jason Ato guy who's in the interim, they're now saying that he could potentially take the job full time. What do you make of that?
Blood, come on, like, and even with that, Dan, yeah, it started off like when because again, you do the daily shows, I do the daily shows. When you're seeing the credible journalists, they started off saying Jason Ito, they're concerned with his inexperience. Now the language is, they're impressed with what he's done. Now, fair enough, Jason. I don't work for Arsenal Football Club, but I don't know what you could have done from now to where we are now. What could you have done? There's been no new contracts for key players. You ain't signed no one. There's been nothing groundbreaking. It does not make sense, really and truly. And is it a thing where the more experienced sporting directors didn't want to leave mid-season? Is it a thing when your targets in that regards didn't want to go? One criticism I have of the club is it feels like Mikel Arteta he gets his way too much and he's got too much power. Let's be honest, if Edu, rightly or wrongly, because I feel the same way about Edu for his issues, yeah. If Edu couldn't get his way with Mikel Arteta, who is this novice guy gonna? And I'm not even trying to diss him. Who is he gonna? Who? When you're linked with him and you're linked with Rosicky now, big up Rosicky, quality player. I'm sure you're a good sporting director. I don't know what you've done or not done in your role, right? But am I wrong, Dan, for thinking it's just everyone getting their mates together? Like it don't make no sense to me, man.
Again, we'll wait till the summer. What's that Will Smith song? Summer, summer, summertime. That's what we're going to play out. We're going to blast out of the speakers next instead of You'll Never Walk Alone. That's what it is. It's all about the summer. You know what I'm saying? Man. It's all about the summer.
Summer's going to be amazing for us, man. We're buying everyone. We're signing everyone. And then we see the think pieces come out, man. And then even that, if we have to be so close to PSR, this summer thing is a myth because you're not going to make too much money on outgoings. I'm sure we'll get onto it. But we both know Gabriel Jesus ain't bringing in anything. Zinni's not bringing in anything. The only thing you can do is free up the wages, assuming these players want to go and actually have offers. It's madness, man.
It's mad. And then the only sporting director I see us linked with heavily is Thomas Rosicky, like you say. So it's going to be another mate coming in. Mikel, I used to play with you. It's just ridiculous, man. It's absolutely crazy. I'm all for players coming back to the club in a coaching role or something. But when it comes to an actual position that you need some experience in, I just don't get it, man. It's just
especially ridiculous. At this time, Dan, as well, because for me, I'm not comparing Mikel Arteta to Arsene Wenger, but when we had Arsene Wenger and he was at his prime, as you know, we had David Dean. When Arsene Wenger was moving a bit too crazy, he pulled him back into the madness. If Arteta is going to stay here, which whether I want him gone or not, he clearly is, he needs someone that is more experienced and somebody that can keep him in line and someone that's promoted to do that. Because I feel the Cronkies, Arteta's the favourite child. He gets what he wants. I don't think all the others are really taking in like that. So is this going to keep continuing?
Bro, the other is continuing according to Hooks as well. Big up to my guy Hooks. Make sure you're following Halftime Hooks. Yeah, see the Spotify owners back into buy Arsenal. Is that for real? Bro, Daniel Eck, isn't it? Daniel Eck, is it?
I'll make videos about it, but come on, man. The Cronkies have shown they're not selling unless you make them some offer they cannot refuse. They want Arsenal as part of their family heirloom, man. He's probably going to donate it to Josh. They're not like, nah, man. It's not going to bang. It's not going to bang.
It's funny, though, isn't it? The minute the Cronkies start to look to be towards like that failure thing again, Daniel Eck's like, go on then. It's like every time. Yeah. Remember the protest? It's like, I want this. It's just mad, bro. It's mad. But let's talk about some potential outgoings. Obviously, Zenko is being linked with a move away this month. Inter Milan are interested. Now, I'm not sure why they want a left back who can't defend, but it sounds like they do.
No, don't say that. They might be listening, man.
Yeah, they might be listening. Like, what do you make? Do you think he'll go this month? Because real talk, I'm not a fan of him, but at the same time, we've kind of like short as it is. Do we need to be getting rid of players without buying them in?
You said it there, Dan. It's like Zinchenko's more than welcome to go, but we've hardly got any bodies. I think he has to stay in January. But if you get made an offer, you can't refuse. It is what it is. And obviously, Lewis Skelly's making the left back position his own. I don't think it's wise to sell Zinny because, as you said, we ain't got no bodies. We haven't really. And injuries have been ramaging this squad at any given moment. So I think you need to keep him, whether I believe in his defensive qualities or not, man. I think he actually has to stay in January. Summer, do your thing.
I think it's mad because we've got Kieran Tierney, Kivior and Zinchenko that are all linked with moves away. Tommy Yasu's still injured. We've got Timber that's just come back from an ACL. Calafiori's injury prone. We've had to put Miles Lewis Skelly in there. It's a bit of a mess, bruv, isn't it? We can't be getting rid of players, surely.
Exactly. It's a mess right now, man. Our squad's been ravaged. And this is where I know the club can't predict injuries. And yeah, you could say with illness and all of that jazz, it's been harsh. But barring last season, we've seen what injuries can do to this football club. And it goes back to the depth. We should have been there in the summer and say, bloody hell, we had a great time with injuries last season. Yeah, Tommy, Timber and Partey were missing. But let's make sure that we put our best foot forward. We did not get enough depth. You can't stand in the rain with a T-shirt and complain you're wet. Go and buy a coat. And this is what we're doing. We was very naive across bare aspects, Dan, man. Like, it's frustrating because you could see it coming and you were hoping to God you would be wrong. But obviously we're not. Like, we're not.
I just want to see some ambition, man. I just want to see, even if we don't actually get it, even if we fail at it, I'd have so much respect. Do you know, like that term, what is that term when they say if you miss the bus, miss the bus running for it? Do you know what I mean? At least try, at least give your all, at least have the ambition to go there and go, do you know what? Fair play, I've done it. Like, go up to a player and say, here's the offer for us, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I've always said when people laughed at, like, people that went for that ambitious offer. Like, so, for example, let's just say Ipswich Town, they put in a mad bid for Havertz. people would laugh at it and go, "What are you doing?" He's going to say no, but you know what? Pick up to them. They
You
tried.
don't know until you
They've
try.
given
If you
their,
don't
they've
talk to
given
that
their
pretty
ambition.
guy at the bar, you might not clock. Like, you have to try, bro.
100%, man. Look, he's never coming. He knows that, and they know that, but they're going for it. They're trying to show their ambitious club. This is what I look at it, man. I just think it's absolutely crazy and ludicrous, in my opinion, but that's the way I see it. Listen, the next player that I wanted to talk to you about was Trossard, because he's apparently rejected a new offer with us, and his contract runs out next season. What are we doing with this brother, man? Because he's fallen off a cliff. I like him. He's more of an impact player and a sub to me. What are you saying?
As you said there, he's more of an impact and a sub player. But going back to what I said, when you don't have enough depth, the subs, on the best of days, Mikel Arteta takes players that should be subs and makes them regulars. But the likes of Trossard, they have to overplay. I'll be real, beyond the goal against Aston Villa, I do think Trossard's been smelly this season. He's stunk up the place. In relation to him rejecting that deal, from the articles I read, it said it was the first offer. Now, typically in any walk of life, you don't accept the first offer. But considering the fact that he's contracted until 2026, there needs to be a decision made. He stunk up the place. Like a lot of these players, these attacking players, if there wasn't injuries, they should thank their lucky stars for the injuries. Obviously, beyond the obvious, they don't want their teammates injured. But you've been provided an opportunity to play. None of them have taken their chance. You know, we thought Jesus, well, as much as I run bants, we thought Jesus might be turning the corner. Clearly not. Martinelli's struggles are continuing. Trossard, he just gets work. They're all terrible at the moment. Like Havertz is nothing to scream and shout about, but he pulls his weight a lot more than them. So when we're talking about this, and the only attacker that we really have confidence in is Bukayo Saka, how do you expect to win a league? It's madness, bro. It's so naive.
You know what's mad is we've actually got a situation where if a new manager walked in, they might genuinely look at Saka and Ødegaard and sell the rest. They actually could genuinely do.
There's only about 3-4 players that you could say are something close to untouchable, and then beyond that, couple good ones. The vast majority of the players can actually leave. Like, I don't think anyone will cry.
No, you're absolutely right, man. It's absolutely crazy. Apparently, Fabrizio Romano has literally just tweeted, let's take a check of this. It's to do with my Mikel Arteta. I don't think it's going to be any amazing news in terms of who we link with, but let's share it and see where we're at with it and what we think about it. Romano is one that I do rely on, to be fair. It says Arteta on the profile that he'd like to look to bring to Arsenal. He said it's someone that can impact the team. Bringing bodies doesn't help at all. They can bring something we don't have in this market. It's very, very difficult to achieve. A lot of excuses, DG, that sounds like to me.
Bro, Dan, it sounds great. I don't think in isolation what he said is wrong. I don't think he's going to come out and say anything different because he likes to keep his cards close to his chest. But it's nonsense. Like, I hear it. Don't just bring in bodies. But are we really, if we were multiple time Premier League winners and all of that jazz, I could understand that. Is there really not players that can improve us? Fair enough. Essentially, me and you on YouTube, but me and you are just armchair experts. We're just fans. You lot have the scouting access. You've got all of these sort of things available, and you really can't come up with players. So it's got to be incompetence then. It's got to be incompetence or complacency. Because if there was really pressure on this football club to deliver, we don't say things and move how we're moving. It's jarring, man. Like, it's disappointing, but it's not surprising. Like, surely he doesn't believe that. Because at this moment, I don't want bodies in for the sake of it, but you could argue you need bodies. We've got like one attacker on the bench. Lord forgive me if we actually have to chase a game. We're in trouble, bro. Ethan's injured now as well. Like, it's Dan, I don't know what to say, bro. Like, it's peak.
It is peak, bro. It is peak. It's absolutely crazy. Master of Disaster, we're doing it Monday, me and Curtis. There's no stream today with me and C. We couldn't make it happen this week, but we will be back Monday. So make sure you're following that there. Me and Curtis are going to be doing some regular content. So let's make sure you're following both Curtis Shaw TV and here and Deluded Gooner as well. Let's chuck this guy into the mix, bro. Because we've spoken about him. And there's rumors suggesting that we could be listening to offers in the summer. I'm looking at his wages and I'm thinking, where's he going? Because I only see Saudi or something like that, bruv.
Dan, you know me. I love Gabriel Jesus. He's someone I'll always run bants like Hooks is in the chat. Anytime Gabriel Jesus scores, I terrorize him. But reality is we're carrying him. You're a squad player at best. And like you just said there, like, it's all fun and games, us sitting there and saying, yeah, sell this one, sell that one. What if Gabriel Jesus, A, loves it in London and loves the squad and Arteta trusts him, B, believes he can actually, get back in the first team, comfortable in London, and like you said, the wages, Arsenal probably need to move him on more than he wants to move on. Fair enough if he wants to go and get football and all of that jazz. He's on big money, rightly or wrongly, big money. Even, I know Zinchenko's got 2 years left on his deal and Jesus a bit longer, but even Zinny, these guys don't have to move, really and truly. So it's fun and games saying sell them. But as you said, unless, Saudi are onto him or there's loans with options to buy and percentages of wages, it sounds good saying sell these guys. It's a myth. And who is? I'm sure we'll have a sporting director by then. But assuming it's Jason Ito, we don't know nothing. How good of a hustler is he? Is he good at selling? What's his phone book like? I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess, Dan, man. It's mad, Dan. It's mad. Like, it's actually mad where we find ourselves.